say the game is getting old. Monday morning and your coffee's cold. Life is not what you want it to be. You need another chance.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to A New Direction. My name is Jay Izzo, and hello. Welcome to our world, ladies and gentlemen. We have got a show that is tailor-made for you. Listen, sometimes things work out for absolutely the perfect reason, and I'm going to tell you what they are. So I had an author who was scheduled, and it was not going to work out the way I wanted it to work out. And so what happened was I was trying to figure out what am I going to do, and I was scrambling. And the last minute, guess what happens? I go, you know what? I've got this really cool friend who happens to be one of the smartest human beings on the planet. And he knows a lot about stuff that's going on right now. And one of the things that he's a specialist in is small businesses. And he has a really neat understanding of this small business stimulus that's going on right now, the coronavirus stimulus. And I thought, well, I'm going to just take a chance. And so I got my fishing pole and I threw it way out into his pool and see if he would grab onto it and do it. And he said he would be willing to do the show. So I have David Forrest with us. Yes, Senior Vice President, Senior Business Development Officer, Fidelity Bank. He's going to help kind of walk us through to get a little bit better understanding of what all this small business stimulus is. He's a really great specialist, and it's awesome. And I know you're going to enjoy him because he's really awesome. Great friend. I love him to death, and he's going to really help you a bunch. But hey, before we do that, let's do what we do every week. And you know what that is, right? I walk you through the 4 areas of your life. You know, we are 4-part people. We are physical people, we are mental people, we're emotional people, and we're spiritual people. And you know, when all 4 of those areas are really working together well, guess what? We are in a great place. And so let's just check in with each other out there of how you're doing in your 4 areas of your life. The first area I like to look at with everybody out there is I like to look at your physical area because it's the easiest, right? And the reason why I like to look at the physical area is because it seems that, you know, if you're physically doing well, it seems that it makes things a little bit easier on the other 3 levels. But I could say, honestly, it's true of those other levels that the other 3 are great if that one's great too. So, but physically, it's easy to understand. So we've got a lot going on physically. So how are you doing, you know, in terms of exercise? How are you doing in terms of sleep? How are you doing in terms of eating well? How are you doing in terms of drinking enough water and taking care of yourself? I know that things are a little bit different because a lot of people can't go in the gyms, but you know, you can do a lot of creative things. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being miserable, 10 being outstanding, how would you all evaluate yourself in your physical area right now, right? And then there's 2 questions I ask with every one of these things. And the 2 questions are this. A, you know, why are you that way? And then B, what are you going to do to make a change right now to start changing that number to get it up to a higher number? Okay, those are really the 2 questions. So you have a physical number, okay, right? 5 is average. So anything above a 5 is, you know, above average. Anything below 5 is below average. So you've got your first number, that's your physical number. Then we have the mental number. And the mental number is simply this. We consume a lot of information. How much of the information is actually helping you grow mentally? Right? What are you doing to really grow in your knowledge and your wisdom and your understanding? What are you doing? What are you doing to grow in those 3 areas? And how are you doing? Right? And you know, a lot of people, we get lazy, right? Because we kind of want to stick to what we kind of enjoy, and that's not really helping us grow, right? We're not reading things or consuming things that really help us truly grow and understand. Sometimes we can get caught up into reading or consuming things that agree with our opinion and aren't really helping us or stimulating our growth. Okay? So what are you doing and how is that going for you? Right? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 miserable, 10 outstanding. Okay? You got that? Good. Okay, you got 2 numbers. That's your physical and mental. Let's look at the emotional number. And the emotional number is really, again, very simple, right? It's different than the mental number because the emotional number is about how you feel, right? And oftentimes what I will tell people is your feelings do not have to dictate anything if you'll put them under control. And that is exactly what I want to know. How well are you able to control your feelings? Because all your feelings are a choice. You do not have to feel the way you feel, regardless of what the circumstances are about you. It is a misnomer to say, well, this caused me to feel this way, or they made me feel this way, because the truth of the matter is nothing can make you feel any way you don't want to feel. I've often used the analogy with my psychology classes. I've often said, you can kick me in the shin. I actually have several choices of how I'm going to feel about that. I do not have to have a response. I can laugh at you. I can run away from you. I can cry. I can be angry. I can have a variety of responses emotionally. It's actually my choice. Maybe a hard choice, but it ultimately is my choice. So when it comes to choosing your emotions, and that's really what this is about, and controlling your emotions and taking them under control, how are you doing on that scale of 1 to 10 emotionally? All right, so you got 3 numbers, right? Physical, mental, emotional, and then we got the spiritual. And the spiritual number is really, if you were to remove the physical, mental, and emotional, the spiritual is that area of your life that is left. And it's this area that we can't explain scientifically, but we all know it exists. We all know that there's something inside of us that we can't explain emotionally. I can't explain it physically. We may try to explain it emotionally, but there's something that goes much deeper. We don't like to often admit, for some people who don't want to admit spiritual area, they say, well, it doesn't exist, or it's just my emotions. The fact of the matter is we have something inside us that either brings us a sense of joy, which is not emotional, or a sense of peace, which is not emotional. And for some people, there are a variety of ways that they try to achieve that. Some people it's God, some people it's meditation, some people it's nature. It's a variety of ways that people try to get in touch with that inside that peace that they can't see explain in any scientific way. So the question is, in that 4th area of your life, how well is whatever you're doing working for you? Is it really getting you to that place where you can be centered and at peace? Is it really getting you to that place where you're at joy, right? And I ask the question all the time, if it's God, how's that working for you? If it's nature, how's that working for you? If it's meditation, how's that working for you? Whatever it is, how's it working for you? And then what do you need to do to change it, right? So there you have 4 numbers, right? Your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual number. They're like the legs of a chair. And if the chair is uneven, what happens is that it's very difficult to sit in, and it really does a lot of damage to our posture. Same thing happens when we're out of balance in those 4 areas of our life. It really damages us. That we aren't really the healthy people we need to be. And at the same time, if all 4 of those areas are too low, we're still not very healthy, because we can't sit in a chair that's low and be comfortable. And it makes us uncomfortable. It means we're not serving out the purposes that we are meant to serve. And that brings me to my guest, and I'm so excited to have him. His name is David Forrest. He's worked in the banking industry, serving clients since 1991. He has degrees in both economics and finance from North Carolina State University. His experience includes managing branch offices throughout North and South Carolina and commercial relationship management, specifically in Raleigh, North Carolina, in this market since 2000. David works exclusively with owner-managed small businesses, helping business owners and commercial borrowers with their needs, improving their cash efficiency, increasing profitability, and simplifying finances. He's assisted hundreds of clients by financing their owner-occupied commercial buildings. He also has an extensive knowledge of small business administration loans. David has been North Carolina's #1 Small Business Association 504 commercial real estate and equipment financing loan producer for several years. He is extraordinarily active in the community, such as Rotary Club president, church treasurer, Raleigh Chamber board of directors. He's a sought-after speaker, and he provides help to business owners through programs offered by the Raleigh Chamber of Commerce and Wake County Technical Community College. He was named the Triangle Business Journal's 40 under 40. He's absolutely fantastic. He is my friend, and I can't be more excited to have him on. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, and welcome to A New Direction, David Forrest. David, welcome.
Hi there, Jay. It's fantastic to talk to you this afternoon.
Well, you know what? This is odd circumstances that we're in, is it not? I mean,
Yes, yes. You know, I've been doing this for 29 years, and you get settled in and think that you've seen it all, and then you realize that you haven't.
it's really true. I don't think any of us, when we heard about the coronavirus, I don't think any of us really sat and thought about, oh my gosh, this is going to have an economic impact, because I think we thought, well, okay, maybe we'll be down for a week or two, but we'll kind of get over it. But we're looking at an extended period of time, which has caused us and we've basically decided there's some businesses that are not essential and some businesses that are, but all of them are feeling some sort of impact of this long-term, I guess, lockdown, for lack of a better word. What are some of the things that you're hearing from small business owners in terms of this, as this lockdown extends? What are you seeing and hearing?
Yeah, what I'm seeing really is pain. Business owners who have poured their lives into their companies, who are now going through trauma. They are worried, and one of the biggest things that I've seen folks struggle with is having to lay off people, because it's like their own family members, and during these trying times, very oftentimes there's not a choice. I've had business owners like in tears on the phone with me, and then I've offered them some ideas to help, and then I've had them in tears of gratitude. So it strikes me almost like it's after a fire or flood or some other kind of hurricane or a home fire where people, I think, are really in trauma as of right now.
Yeah, I've been seeing this too, is that the longer that this extends, and of course, from a psychological standpoint, the longer this extends, the more antsy people get. And then, of course, people who, not everybody has enough savings or enough money to go an entire month. I know that seems crazy, but it's really true, because I think, as and I know, that a lot of these businesses that get started, the margins are pretty thin, right?
Yes, and what I've seen also is we've had so much growth month after month. Business owners had their cash tied up in product on their shelves, and so once those sales stop, and especially as suddenly as they have, it's a painful time, without a doubt.
Yeah, so let's talk about what is being done. Okay, so the government has issued some money that they've put out there to help small businesses, and so kind of tell us what is this SBA small business package? What is that?
Sure. Well, what I would say, this is what I always tell folks first. First thing is work with your bank. When clients win, the bank wins. When clients lose, oftentimes the bank loses. So we're all on the same team. So while loans are current, while think things are still getting paid, now is the time to work with your banker to weigh out some options on any loans that you may have. So one thing that I'm seeing this pretty standard is having clients to defer 2 or 3 payments. So what that means is if you do that in April, you don't have to make a payment in May or June or July in some cases, and those two or three payments just get tacked on to the end of the client's loan. And if you're paying a building payment that's $50,000 a month, or whether it's a truck loan that's $500 a month, that can certainly help as far as having cash on hand. And what I've seen is in some cases where somebody maybe has to have time to rebuild a pipeline once all this passes. One other option that is very standard is a interest only period, very oftentimes for about 6 months. So that can help, as far as having some breathing room. But work with your bank first and foremost. Don't wait until a loan is late and they're calling you, because oftentimes at that point it's too late to have as many options to work with you otherwise. But in terms of other options through the SBA, right now there's really, and I kind of jokingly say there's 2.5 options. So for people who don't know, the SBA is a government program, the Small Business Administration. It was founded in 1953, and it's there to help privately owned businesses grow and keep hiring people, and it does that very well. There's basically two silos as far as the SBA goes. One is the 7A program, so the number 7 and then A is an apple, and that is what most people think of in terms of an SBA loan. That is to finance goodwill or a purchase of a business, working capital, more softer kind of needs. The other silo is the 504 program, which is the SBA's mortgage program, and so that is what I specialize in more. But the 7A loans, we're also doing a ton of those right now. So basically, with both of the programs, the SBA is there to kind of grease the wheels to help get banks to lend. So with the 504, which is the mortgage program, it offers to take a second mortgage. So the bank's first mortgage is in a very, very low loan to value. The 7A program, they offer a loan guarantee. So what that means is if the bank closes that loan and some portion of it isn't repaid, there's a split and of any loss where the SBA pays a portion of that. Now the bank has to make sure they've got all their paperwork right, every I dotted, every T crossed perfectly, but that's the goal of the 7A program. And so with the stimulus dollars, the 7A is where all the money has gone to, and there are some great options for the business owners out there to weigh out and hopefully help them as far as making it through this challenging time.
We're talking with David Forrest, Senior Vice President and Senior Business Development Officer for Fidelity Bank. And he is helping us understand a little bit more clearly what the Small Business Administration stimulus is like, and how that is, and how that people can actually kind of understand it in a little bit clearer terms, and also walking us through what he's seen in terms of what he's seen as we are going through this lockdown, if you will, and how to help small businesses along the way. So, David, let's talk real quickly about here. Is this small? Is there like limitations on who can apply for this loan? I mean,
yes. There's actually two separate programs that I'll touch on if you would like, Jay.
Sure.
The first one is called the EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And who that is targeted at is small companies, which they kind of set the rule at 500 employees. So people who are businesses that are 500 employees or less, they'll do a loan size of up to $2 million. So some bandwidth. The terms on this loan are fantastic. They'll do up to a 30-year fixed rate at 3.75% fixed for for-profit companies, and even do loans for nonprofits at 2.75%. So really good terms on that loan. And what it's there for is to help fund the costs that you may have now while you're not having revenue come in. So how the program works is you actually go to the SBA's website, which is sba.gov, and key in your information. It'll ask you for other things also, as far as just supporting documents, and then they'll come back to you with an answer and a loan size and terms, in terms of how long it would be amortized over, and just some other details beyond that. So great terms on that one.
That's awesome. Listen, you know what? So this is the EIDL, and the website is sba.gov, that people can grab some other information. And we're with David Forrest here, by the way, and we're talking about the government stimulus, and he's kind of giving us, just kind of explaining how this all works. And you know what? You're listening to us right here on A New Direction. Hey, New Direction, you know what? We've got a couple of great sponsors, and one of those sponsors is Epic Physical Therapy. And whether you're recovering from an injury or surgery, maybe you're suffering just everyday aches and pains, maybe you're having difficulty performing activities of daily living, maybe you're an athlete and you just cannot perform the athletic activities that at the level you'd like to perform them. You could be that you're just trying to improve how you move and you feel. Look, the elite team at Epic Physical Therapy will provide you with a customized treatment plan tailored to your individual needs. With their experience in rehabbing young athletes to elite professionals, they really understand the need to treat the entire body as a functional whole. I know, because I go there and they have helped me over and over and over again. Look, they don't just treat your symptoms or your injury. They treat you and get you to where you want to be. Look, if you're looking for epic relief, epic recovery, and epic results, don't look anywhere else. You need to check out Epic Physical Therapy. Just go to epicpt.com. That's EPICPT.com. That's EPICPT.com. And of course, Linda Craft and Team Realtors. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. Linda Craft and her team for 35 years have been helping people all over the world. Yes, literally all over the world, sell or buy their home by helping them match them up with the best possible real estate professional in that area. And you know what? They still are doing that. And how can they guarantee, or how can they make sure that you have the best, right, real estate professional in your area? It's really simple. They're independently owned and operated. They do not belong to a national company. They simply get to know the best real estate professionals in your area. And it doesn't matter who they're affiliated with. If they're the best, that's who they're going after, and that's the people that they can connect you with in your area. And you know what? People have been satisfied. Matter of fact, they have been so satisfied with Linda Craft and her team. You know what they call them? They call them the legends of customer service. Yeah, because their customer service is so legendary. And for 35 years, they have been able to do that at a top level. So look, if you're looking to sell or buy your home, regardless of where you live, but if you specifically live in the Research Triangle Park, that's Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, look, why not look up Linda Craft and her team? Just go to lindacraft.com. That's LINDACRAFT.com. LINDACRAFT.com. And we're back here on A New Direction, and we're talking with Senior Vice President and Senior Business Development Officer David Forrest, Fidelity Bank. And David is kind of walking us through some of these loan programs. And you walked us through the EIDL program.
Yes,
and
EIDL.
Apologize for that. So walk us through what some of these other programs are that the SBA is making available to folks.
Sure, Jay. So two of the last points on the EIDL is what I always stress is just go slowly and take your time as far as the paperwork goes. It's a stressful time, and business owners wear many hats. But if you check no and it should be yes, that can actually hold up your process for several days. So yeah, just take your time if you do go that route. Second thing is due to the volume of loans with the other option that I'm going to touch on in a minute. The EIDL is actually running about a two week lag time. Okay. My clients are telling me. So if you do this and don't hear anything from the SBA for 10, 12, 13 days, don't sweat it yet at that point. One other program that I would share is that is tied to the EIDL is called the SBA Express Bridge Loan, and what that is a short-term loan option with the thought process of since the EIDL loans are taking longer as far as getting done, you can actually do this loan through a SBA Express lender. There is a $10,000 upfront draw you can take with this loan, and to help in that period of time, and it can actually be a loan up to $25,000. So this actually just rolled out on March the 25th, and this was the one that I kind of jokingly called a half a program, because it's really meant as a short-term loan to help people in their times of need. The rate on this one isn't as good. It's as high as prime plus 6.5%, which is currently 9.75%. Okay. But if you only have it for 30 or 45 days, that isn't too bad really in the grand scheme of things.
Right. So are these now? I have heard. Correct me. Maybe I don't know, because maybe I don't understand. But is the SBA doing grants too of some sort?
So what I have read, and I haven't seen this firsthand, because the EIDL loans are directly made from the SBA to the borrower. So okay. To the bank really isn't in that mix. Okay. But what I have read is that first $10,000 draw does not have to be paid back. Okay. But please do verify that when you're in the SBA portal and actually filling out the details that it asks for. Now, the big one in terms of grants is the PPP loan. Okay. So that is the Payroll Protection Program loan that the media really has picked up on for the last week and a half or so. So what that is basically $349 billion in government funding there to help small businesses primarily meet payroll during this time, because the thought process is keep people working and are at least on the payroll versus having them get laid off. So this actually opened up Friday, April 3rd, and the response has been the biggest that I've seen in almost 30 years in doing lending. It's just been lots of it. But how that works is basically your maximum loan size is 2.5 times 1 month's payroll. So if your average payroll is $10,000, your maximum loan is $25,000, and of those funds, 75% have to be used for payroll, and then up to 25% can be to help with rent, utilities, interest paid on any debt that's owed. So yes, that's a nice tool. But the real draw to it is that the SBA is saying if all of their rules are met, then at the end of 60 days, that loan can be forgiven. So that's what really has the buzz, for business owners who really want to help their people stay on the payroll. It's a great way to hopefully help do that.
So I've heard a lot of talk about this. I've heard a lot of talk about that there's, this possibility of the SBA forgiving the loan. But I've also heard the same thing that you just alluded to, and that you kind of have to, I guess you got to kind of dot your I's and cross your T's to make sure that you can get that. Am I right? I mean, there are some stipulations. I mean, you just can't use this money for anything. It has to be towards business. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. And they haven't actually given banks any kind of final guidance as far as what we would have to have to show that it was used as it should be. But what I've stressed to all of our clients is just keep very, very good records of every dime that you spend the loan proceeds on, and just make sure that the bulk of it is for payroll, and we'll just have to wait on the SBA in terms of final guidance as far as what we have to have in order to have the loan forgiven. Now these are actually made by a bank, and part of the challenge that I'm seeing is because every bank has its own budget as far as how much to fund these, and so there's been some banks that have opened up the floodgates and actually run out of money out of that budget in just one day, and even in some cases less than one day. So most banks aren't doing these for non-customers. Most of them you do have to be an active client at that bank for them to process that for you. But I would definitely say talk to your bank. Just know that they probably got a very, very large volume of loans that they're doing. With our bank, we've done almost 3,000 in 7 business days.
Wow. Wow.
So it's very, very busy for everybody right now.
So
it is open for-profit companies and nonprofit companies as well. So definitely worthwhile.
Let me ask you this. I don't know the answer to this, and maybe you don't either, and it's okay if you don't. Is this available through every bank, or are there some banks are not participating, or would most banks? I don't. Do you have any idea if you know?
Sure. Yes. Some banks are, and some are not.
Okay.
Because we were still getting guidance very, very late, and it's hard to set up systems and be able to process these. So I've seen one bank that actually won't start taking them until I think like around the 20th or 25th.
Okay.
So, and many have had smaller budgets and have actually fully utilized their funds. But yes, it's more of a bank by bank option as far as looking at those.
So the banks ultimately they make the decision whether they want to participate or not. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, I got
Yes,
you.
sir.
Okay.
Sure is.
So let's talk about this from the small business side. So I've heard some things from a small business side of whether they should, if they shouldn't. Is this something where this is the decisions that businesses make? I mean, is there something that should they be considering certain things? Should they, is this something where they need to kind of go, all right, do I have to, first of all, do I really need it? Is it, and how am I going to use it? Is there some things that they should consider before they do this? Or, is this just something that they go, you know what, the money's available, you might as well go do it?
Yeah, I've seen folks really struggle with it because, well, for several reasons. One thing is if you do the loan and things don't rebound in 60 days, you'll be faced in June with either keeping people on the payroll until things rebound, or at that point laying off people and then having a loan that you have to pay back. Mm. So that's one challenge that I've seen is folks not being totally sure that that all this will work itself out in 60 days or less. So that's one challenge that I'm seeing. But yes, I'm seeing medical practices doing it. I'm seeing small retailers doing it. I've seen us process loans as small as $600 and as large as well into the millions. So just really is a case by case as far as whether it's worthwhile to do this or not.
So when people actually go do this, and I'm hearing two things. So when people actually go to, let's say a small business wants to do this, do they start at the SBA.gov site or do they start with their bank, or does it depend on the loan?
Well, so one other thing too that's making this challenging is for us as a bank and our bankers, we always want our people to be a advisor, a guide to people as far as how to get things done. We talk through our process and how it'll be underwritten and what does work and what doesn't work. Well, the challenge with this is banks are actually serving more as a processor than as a guide. So if folks ask me, well, how do I fill this out? What number do I use for this and that? I really can't answer because we don't want to give bad guidance to our clients, and many of these, being that it's payroll and tax, are more CPA questions than banker questions. So what I do is I refer them to their CPA and can have them kind of guide them through the process, and then once I get it, if I see something that kind of jumps out, I'll go back to the client and say, hey, I noticed, on number 7, you had noted that not all of your workers are U.S. workers. Is that accurate? And they'll say no. Check the wrong box and fix that. So the banks are really having to be more reactive in terms of guidance and not proactive
Gotcha.
with the guidance.
I gotcha. We're talking with David Forrest. He is the Senior Vice President and Senior Business Development Officer at Fidelity Bank, and he's kind of helping us get a better understanding of the government stimulus for small businesses and kind of walking us through that. And we're having a great time with him, and you're listening to him here on A New Direction. Hey, New Direction has got some sponsors, and we are so grateful for them because, you know what, they financially support us, and the show, we just can't do the show for free, and so we need financial support. And the one thing that we get is we have two amazing sponsors who do that, and one of those is Epic Physical Therapy, and they're the newest sponsor. But you know what, they're so good. I love them. I go there. They are my physical therapist. Their facility, I'm just telling you, is one of the most advanced, top of the line facilities. It's got some of the best I call it bleeding edge equipment. I don't know if they actually want me to use that. They probably would rather use cutting edge. But I'm telling you, the equipment is absolutely state of the art. It's a fantastic. Here's some of them, like the Ultra G anti-gravity treadmill. Takes pressure off your knees so that you can actually, and your joints, so that you can actually run. The Normatec compression sleeves, the Game Ready, which I really love, the compression and the ice all together. It's fantastic. And their staff is trained and certified in the most comprehensive cutting-edge treatments that are available right now. And, I like a lot of these, like the blood flow restriction therapy, the dry needling, which can take swelling out, cupping, which is fantastic. And if you've ever seen swimmers with those circles on their back, that's from the cupping where they're manipulating the muscle through the skin. It is absolutely wonderful. Your back looks a little weird, but I got to tell you, it's worth it. Listen, these are my physical therapists. I believe them. I trust them. And I am telling you, you will too. You need to check them out. Just go to Epic Physical Therapy. It's epicpt.com. It's EPICPT.com. That's EPICPT.com. And of course, Linda Craft and Team Realtors. You know what? They have been with us from the very beginning, and we love Linda Craft and her team because for 35 years, they are literally, their clients say that they have legendary customer service when it comes to real estate. And literally, I could tell you that part of that reason is because they have created relationships with every person one at a time. They will go the extra mile. You walk into their door at 7300 Six Forks Road in Raleigh, North Carolina, I can promise you one thing. They're going to say, hey, how about a bottle of water? And they want to start the conversation, sit down with you because they understand this. And that is that the home is the largest personal purchase you're probably going to make in a lifetime. And they know that more than that, that's where memories are made. And they want to be part of that memory in a positive way. So when you're ready to sell your home or you're ready to buy another home, why not talk to the legends? Why not talk to the legends of customer service that will give you a great experience? Why not check out Linda Craft and her team? I'm telling you, they are absolutely fantastic. Just go to lindacraft.com. That's LINDACRAFT.com. That's LINDACRAFT.com. And we're back here on A New Direction, and we are talking with David Forrest of Fidelity Bank, and he's kind of walking us through the Small Business Association loan programs and kind of helping us kind of get a better understanding and a better grasp of how it works, and what some things that maybe we need to think about, and some things we need to consider, and how we need to maybe approach this. And David, I was thinking about something that you just said. I think people are in different places when it comes to, taking on loans and money. And I think that for a lot of people, there is a lot of unknowns about this. I think there are some people I think there's some misinformation on several levels. I think there's some misinformation that says, oh, you take out the loan and you'll never have to pay it back. And then there's the misinformation on the other side that says, oh, you take out this loan, they're going to gouge you. And so I think there's kind of misinformation on both sides about that. Is the best place for people to find more information, is it to go to sba.gov to really learn more?
Yes, it is, Jay. I mean, that they do kind of talk through things. Now, I haven't found one place to find all the answers, so they might have to kind of surf around some. But yes, I mean it's best to go to the source, and things have changed on this program. So there are good, honest people out there sharing what they know, and what they know may have changed. So the most current resource is the SBA's website. If a client does it end up having to pay it back, the interest rate is very, very good. It's 1%.
Oh.
So yes, very, very good rate. Now one catch though, I mean, or I hate to say a catch. One thing to kind of bear in mind is that there is no payment for 6 months for the first 6 months,
okay.
But it's a 2-year loan. So if you do that loan and do end up having to pay it back, you've only got 18 months to pay it back in. So that's something to think about just in terms of cash flow. But the maximum loan size under that program is $10 million. So it's aimed at, like I said, from a mom and pop shop or just a mom shop or a pop shop, all the way up to a company where 2.5 months of payroll is $10 million.
Right.
So very, very large companies.
Well, is this so? I don't mean to sound like I'm an idiot or I'm confused, but so my understanding is that this package is so that people don't get rid of employees, right? I
yes.
mean, is that the origins of it? Is that so that people don't have to lay off or fire, or I guess lay off because they're not certainly being fired. But I thought this package was so that people didn't have to lay off employees, so that employees could at least be gainfully employed during this time, and then so then is there something that says that, for instance, let's say you get this loan, and all of a sudden you start laying off people after you get the loan. Is there a penalty for that then?
So while I can't offer any strong guidance as far as that goes, what I do read is that maintaining your payroll number
okay.
over the 60 days is paramount. So
that's my understanding too. My understanding too was that you had to at least remain in some percentage of your payroll number so that you didn't. I guess that sounded like, to me at least, on the SBA, what I got from the SBA sounded like that was part of the conditions, were that you couldn't just take the money and then just get rid of everybody. That was kind of like a condition. Is that how you understood it, or?
Yes,
yeah.
But we haven't gotten any kind of final guidance on it yet. So we don't really have any kind of hard and fast rules. But what I would say is if you fill it out, it asks for how many people were on staff on or around February 15th of 2020, and if you put a number in there, if it was me, I would make sure that I had that number or that number plus some other number as of June, when it's time to have it reviewed. So I've heard of people who had actually laid people off and then hired them back under this program. So
got it.
So yes. While I can't offer any hard guidance there because we haven't received any,
right.
That's one thing that I would certainly make sure of.
So one of the things that you said a little bit ago was that you mentioned the word your CPA. Is this maybe a good thing for a small business to do? Is to maybe enlist their CPA to kind of help them kind of go through this? Is that a pretty good person to have alongside of you instead of trying to do this on your own? Do you?
Yes, certainly. As a matter of fact, when it first rolled out, they actually had a fee factored in to pay the CPA, but but they actually took that out. So any kind of a guide to help them through the process. But yes, that these numbers, most business owners are focused on their craft and their people, and getting down in the fine details of a 941 form isn't something most people really do on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's wise to have a CPA you can count on and who will guide you, an attorney, a banker. I mean, other people to work with as far as your daily routine.
So, David, let me ask you this too. So, this whole stimulus package, and I know that you have to be careful about what you say, because and I don't certainly want to put you in an awkward or bad position. But this stimulus package is, I mean, it just seems like it's such a really good idea for so many businesses to take advantage of, and I am just finding that there are some people who just, their pride has kind of got in the way, where they're just kind of go, I'm not taking any money, right? Because I don't want to be that person. And I'm kind of wondering, this is probably not the time to get prideful. Is kind of what I'm thinking here, based on what you're saying and based on what the government is trying to do here, because I think they understand. The government understands that we're kind of in a, if we don't maintain people, and I think that's the reason why they're doing this, is because then we can certainly cripple the economy, and it already looks like we're probably headed for some recession. I said that, but maybe not. But I mean, I just think that people, this is my opinion, I think people just need to really take a hard, close look at this and honestly be honest with themselves that there could be some really potential benefits for them here. Do you agree?
Yes, certainly. I mean, I've had several clients that this was honestly like the catalyst to drive them to not laying off people, because our labor market was so tight as of January and early February,
right.
And if you lay off people and have them sidelined for 60 or 90 days, and then business comes back, and you've got to rehire, and people may not have the best morale at that point, having been laid off. Many kind of saw this as a way to not have to lay off people. Mm-hmm. And for me personally, Jay, my son asked me about doing something last Saturday. I said no. I got to work, and I was telling him how banks offering this can help other moms and dads not have to come home and tell their kids that they lost their job that day. Mm. And so, as far as a purpose, and I think it's a great way to help keep people working, or at least on a payroll versus being laid off.
Yeah, I have to be. I heard somebody say about this. Tell me if this is an accurate description. I don't know if it is or not, but I think it is. Somebody said, you almost got to think of this as kind of as an angel investor, a little bit, and that you're getting an opportunity to have somebody who's angel investing into your company, and it just happens to be that it's the government that's doing that. And, I started to think about it, and maybe you can correct that analogy. Maybe that's not a correct analogy, but it sure sounded and sure felt a whole lot better than when I heard it that way. What are your thoughts when you hear that? I mean, does that sound semi-accurate, or?
Yeah, I had one client, a small retailer who was struggling with it, and his was every bit of maybe $10,000. Was his 2.5 months payroll, and I heard him out, and I pulled up his tax tax return last year, and he had paid several times that in taxes. And I asked him. I said, "You paid several times that in taxes. Have you maybe thought about it as just kind of like a tax rebate?" and he said, "All right, David, I'll do it." I'm not trying to talk anybody into doing or not doing anything, but yes, it's certainly there to help people, and I would hate to see him lay off his couple people that he's got working for him. So so yes, I think it's a great tool that we've come out with, and personally as a taxpayer, I would rather see us fund this than unemployment claims and other things. It just seems a much more targeted way of keeping things going. One other thought, Jay, too, is because I had some other resources that I thought I might share to help business owners.
Yeah.
First thing, and maybe wait until this settles down, but I think a lot of people are sort of hitting the pause button and saying, I need a plan. If I'm going to be in business and have the chance of getting sidelined by something that I never saw coming out of this, I want to be better at my business. One resource that I recommend often is SCORE. SCORE stands for the Service Corps of Retired Executives, and it's a nonprofit of people who have gone through business who can offer counseling and mentoring. So if you're weighing out doing something and need guidance, SCORE's a great resource. Most of the technical schools have like a small business center. Ours here in Wake County, Wake Tech has a small business center. They sometimes have me speak at their workshops, and they oftentimes partner with SCORE. So that can be a good option. One other thing I would point out too is in most every market there is what's called a CDC. Now that's not Centers for Disease Control.
Okay, let's not confuse that. Okay, all right.
That's a local area development corp, and there's actually 4,600 of them nationwide, and they're also nonprofits to help businesses, and very oftentimes they make loans, typically SBA loans. But as far as just having a good resource, because very oftentimes there are local lending funds that a CDC can oftentimes help folks find.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you realize that we've almost been on an hour?
Time flies, doesn't it?
I'm telling you, I know you were worried about it. You're going, I don't know that we got enough material for an hour. Trust me, we got enough material. There's a whole bunch of questions we never got to ask.
Sure.
You know what, though? I want to, as we close up here, I want to just say, first of all, thank you, David, for doing this. I know that this was kind of a last-minute thing, and you were so gracious to be on the show. And we have been friends, but I really do appreciate you taking the time to do this for me, and I know the listeners out there appreciate it as well.
Sure. Jay, if it helped one person, it was worthwhile.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I know it will. I know it helped more than one. I think it gave insights to thousands. So I appreciate it. So I ask all my friends, because you and I have been friends for a long time, but you're now a friend of the show because you've been on it. I ask my friends, because the show's called A New Direction, if David Forrest could give people a new direction based on this information that we have on these stimulus loans package, what would David Forrest say to close them?
Sure. First thing I would again stress: talk to your bank now. Work as a team through these challenges, and then secondly, just weigh out these options through the SBA. They're fantastic terms, and hopefully that can help us all through through this time.
Awesome. His name is David Forrest. He's a Senior Vice President, Senior Business Development Officer, Fidelity Bank. Folks, that's the show. You know what I say every week. Be inspired, because when you're inspired, that means you can inspire other people, and in turn, they can inspire others, and that can make this world a really great place. I'll be back next week with another great show, with another great guest, with another great, who knows what. Could be a book, could be something even more fantastic. Who knows? But I'll be back, and you know what I say to you every week. That is, ciao, everybody.
Time has come for a new direction. Yeah, yeah. New direction. Yeah, yeah. When you lost your confidence and the answers don't make sense, you got to keep your hope alive. You got to know you can survive. This is your time to fly. A new direction, a brand new day. A new direction, things are gonna change. You can find the strength to go a different way, yeah. The time has come. Your dreams will take you places you have never been before. Find your passion, find your strength.